Boys and girls, now that you have finished your picture walk, let's do an introduction to our story, The Muddy Mess. Think about a time or something that you have gotten where you have gotten really muddy, or something that you have has gotten really muddy and that has had to be cleaned. Mrs. Grant knows that when the boys go outside to play, especially after it has rained, they often come home with muddy pants and muddy shoes. And I sit at the kitchen sink and I scrub them clean, get all the mud off. The title of our book is The Muddy Mess. If we look at the word muddy, at first it might be hard to figure out what the word is. Definitely could use my picture, but I could also start to sound it out. Take the ending off, and I see three little letters, M-U-D. D. Mud. Muddy. The muddy mess. Be sure to use your reading strategies as you read the story today. What muddy thing is on the cover? You're right. It is a muddy bike. Okay, on pages 2 and 3, we see some characters, three characters in our story, a mom, a dad, and a boy. Let's ask ourselves, what is the setting of our story? Well, they look like they're in the driveway at a house outside. So I'd say the setting is at their house outside. There's Dad's car, and it was a muddy mess. Look at it. Where do you see mud on the car? You're correct. There is mud everywhere. I wonder if everywhere will be one of the words that I see on the page. I'd like you to say the word there. There starts with a th sound. The word there starts like the word the. There. Find there on the page, underline it, and say it. There. 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 Now, let's look at Jake's bike. Oh, the boy's name is Jake. Okay, so that's going to be another word I'm going to find somewhere in the story. What are you thinking? Yep, Jake's bike is a muddy mess, too. Let's look at the sentence on page 3. Jake's bike was a muddy mess, too. This here is a comma, and when you see a comma in a sentence, it is a reminder that you need to take a brief pause, a brief stop when you see it. Listen to Mrs. Grant read it again. Jake's bike was a muddy mess, too. On pages 4 and 5, Jake said he would like to help Dad clean the car if Dad would help him clean his bike. Say the word clean. Okay. What two letters would you see first in the word clean? If you said CL, you are correct. Look at page 4, find the word clean, underline it, and say it. Clean. Here on pages 6 and 7, what did Dad and Jake get to wash the car? To me, they look like buckets, but the author instead used the word pails. The author uses the word pails. If Mrs. Grant was reading, Dad got 2 buckets. I would have to stop and say, that doesn't look right. because buckets would start with B and this starts with P. Dad got 2 pails. If we look at page 7, we see that they are filling the pails with water from the hose and soap. I know there's soap because of the bubbles in the picture. And now they are going to wash the car and the bike. I wonder what will happen. Hope you enjoy reading the story of The Muddy Mess. And while you do read the story, I want you to think, what was the problem in our story? How did they solve the problem in our story? And let's also see if we can make some predictions. What might happen at the end of our story or when the story is finished? Keep that in mind as you are doing reading of The Muddy Mess.